Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for the collective because we're having a solar eclipse today in Libra. So because of that, because it's a collective reading, I'm doing this reading with my big deck, combining the tarot cards and the Astrological Oracle cards. So you'll see both of them here, although we only have the tarot cards here in this first part. But the interesting message that is coming through is in regards to desires, especially in terms of your needs, your wants. There is something that you want, that you know that you want, that you know that you deserve, and it should be here by now, but it isn't. And it's almost like frustration or maybe this anger, like demanding, where is this thing? Why isn't it here? Shouldn't it be here by now? It's like it's time for my wants and needs to be satisfied, to be manifested. So why isn't it here right now? But the guidance here is that just go inside your heart and truly analyze, right? Libra is a very analytical sign. So analyze what is truly that you want. Why do you want it? What is like the root that is really commanding this type of desire or this necessity of yours? So we're beginning with the King of Wands, and this is why I mentioned the needs and the wants and the desires, because there is this fire burning inside of this king that it's a king already. So that's the reason also, because we do have the Wheel of Fortune here in the same line as, you know, this king. So it feels like you are already in, you know, a phase of your life where perhaps you have accomplished a lot of desires, a lot of things, but there is one perhaps, or, you know, a few of them that, you know, haven't been realized, haven't been manifested. You couldn't like feel the pleasure of, you know, or maybe the satisfaction of having this one desire in particular there within your grasp, within your hands, within your reality. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the Three of Wands coming next, although this Three of Wands, you know, traditionally talks about, you know, the ships coming in and, you know, everything that you wanted, you know, finally coming for you. You can see bits and pieces, or, you know, you can smell the scent of it. It's like it's so close that now you can truly find what is the word, evidence that is coming. But what I was seeing with the Three of Wands was like, you know, when we think of, you know, a system that is always changing, swapping places, right? It's almost like I'm seeing this as like a table where, you know, everybody around you is getting their plate, but you are not. It's like for some reason you're being skipped. You're like, it's like it was supposed to be your turn, because with the Six of Cups, it's almost like when you go back, you know, in your memories, it's almost like it's natural that now your turn would come because it came for everybody else that was around you. So it's almost like you had hopes back then that, yes, it's okay that your time didn't come back then. You know, it's almost like luck skipped you and went to the neighbor, right? Something like that. This is the Three of Wands, right? And because it's the king, and here we have the memory lane card, this is the card to me that goes back to the past. So it's like the emotional past. It's almost like this sort of this occult wound. It's interesting because the wounding came in Gemini's extended yesterday. So perhaps this is like this collective thing that now that is being amplified and highlighted because of the eclipse. So this memory of the past about, you know, you dealing, and I want to say extraordinarily doing your best to deal with this swapping of places that ended up skipping your turn, right? It's like when you thought was your turn, or when you thought that you were going to receive what was meant to be yours, it's like you were skipped. So you hold that. It's interesting, it's coming through as regret. It's almost like maybe you think that you should have said something back then, or maybe you shouldn't have been so nice. It's like you have that frustration, right? But the frustration here with the King of Wands, it's almost like it's starting to build up and become anger, or something like, you know, maybe starting to be furious about how you reacted back then, because it's like you were hoping that now, you know, would be your time. Why isn't it here? And the reason why I'm saying that, maybe you dealt with this situation in a very nice way, in a very gentle way, in a very loving way, and now there is some sort of regret, or there is some sort of frustration about what you did back then because of the Five of Wands. Yes, the Five of Wands here is coming through with this, it's like this flavor of the traditional Five of Wands that talks about conflict, and a type of conflict that you didn't want to cause back then, right? It's like where you're standing right now with what you have accomplished by yourself, right? It's almost like here, yes, something that you desired was not given to you, or maybe, you know, you didn't have the same opportunity that the people beside you had. So it's almost like you had to prove yourself that you could make it on your own. You see what I mean? And that's the reason why you're showing up as the king, because there's a lot of merit here. It's like you have built yourself, like you have built yourself everything that you wanted, or that you thought that you deserved on your own. Because if it was like an option to stay here and wait for your share of whatever, it's like you, with this memory that you hold, it's like you know that you would keep on waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like it would never come, because there is this intense memory in you that, you know, you should have been more firm. This is what this is talking about. The fives to me talk about standing, well, specifically in this case, the fives talk about integrity of self. But being the Five of Wands and you showing up as the King of Wands, and, you know, a reaction to the Three of Wands that was this skipping of your own, of your turn, of receiving something. It's like when you look back to that situation, or when you go there emotionally, it's like you do feel like you should have done something to stand your ground, to leave your mark, to show your presence, to be more, to be heard, right? To be noticed. That's the proper way to say it. It's like now you are being the King of Wands. It's like this is a person that knows exactly the extent of their power, right? And they're not shy about using this power. But it seems like it wasn't always this case. It's like it feels like in the past you didn't want to cause any conflict, so therefore it's like you were afraid in a sense of, you know, standing your ground, or maybe like demanding that your turn was what is the word? That your turn was paid attention to, or was respected, right? Here, it's like now you have earned the respect that, you know, others show to you. Here, it wasn't always the case. So, but in order to prevent this chaos from happening, or, you know, from you, you know, just entering a conflict or a fight with whomever, it's like you didn't want to do that. But now it's like, now because you're realizing that holding that memory, and, you know, in a sense, reliving that memory, because this is what the Six of Cups talks about. It's like, this is a memory that was stored away for quite some time ago, but now it's returning because it has purpose. And the purpose is for you to feel like you can stand your ground, like you can be firm about who you are, what you stand for, what you believe. It's like you don't have to shy away like you did in the past, but you can do it in a very gentle way. It's like you're going to be prepared for whatever result comes out of this, because the Knight of Cups is talking about showing up with your heart. And it's interesting because we're ending with the Ace of Cups. So this is like the way that you show up, maybe to correct something from the past, or maybe, you know, maybe there is something that is resembling the same situation that, you know, you lived in the past that made you feel like you weren't respected, or you didn't receive the same treatment as the people around you. So this situation, the same type of pattern that, you know, ties back to that memory, if it's happening now and it's giving you the opportunity to react in a different way, or to act upon it with your heart, then this seems to be the way to go. Because the Knight of Cups shows up with not their heart in their sleeves. It's not, maybe that's not the proper way to say it, because it's not like you're desperate, but it's like you don't want to carry on this frustration. You don't want to keep on feeling like you should have done something and you didn't, right? It's like now you know that you should have, there's a lot of shoulds, right? It's like maybe that's the reason for your regret right now, but it's like you don't have to keep on feeling like you should this or should that. It's like you can correct that right now, but the way to go, it's like it's through preparation, because the Knight is holding a shield. So they are bringing, in a sense, you have your own experience, right? You have matured, you have conquered a lot. So your experiences, your like everything that you have lived to just, you know, achieve what you have achieved, to fulfill your desires, in a sense, it's like you can do so. You can be very honest, because to me this is like, you know, very gentle but very sincere with what is the goal, or what is the reason for this action, for this reaction perhaps. There is validity here with the Wheel of Fortune. It's not like you're demanding something that is wrong or that is not supposed to be yours. With the Wheel of Fortune coming next, you know that what you're asking for, what you're requesting, what you're demanding, perhaps maybe, you know, in a more emphatic way, but not in a way that you cause any damage to anybody. It's almost like, you know, it's like you know how to regulate that in yourself. And if you don't, this is guidance so that you do, right? So here, it's like you do have the heart to show up how rightful this is. But because the Wheel of Fortune also talks about time and the timing of it, one of the arguments that is going to be like used in your favor is that this should be here by now. It's like, now it's time. It's like you cannot postpone this any longer. You have waited your fair share for long enough. Now it's time. But if you keep on demanding it and using this argument, which is very honest and very true, with your shield, it's almost like you're going to go in with a defense type of posture. So the reason why the Ace of Cups is coming next, ending this portion of the reading, is that once you, yes, the first step into the situation so that you can face this, not with anger or with, you know, this combustive type of presence, but rather with one that is, it's almost like you're going to have to tone down a little bit the intensity at which, you know, perhaps you're arriving at the conclusion that you cannot hold this memory any longer, but because it really brings you frustration and anger and, you know, just this lack of satisfaction and lack of sense of self-fulfillment. So, but you know that this is something that is meant for you. So now it's time. Now you're no longer going to be silent about this. Now you're not going to shy away from this. Now it's your turn. You have waited long enough. So the first step, yes, you go, you know, using some sort of protection, some sort of shield, some sort of armor. But once the argument is there, it's like you don't have to be defensive any longer. It's like you can just be there with your full heart. So the Ace of Cups is just talking about complete exposure in a sense, but exposure in a sense of vulnerability, right? That's the better word. It's like, here is complete vulnerability. When you are in a situation where the thing that you're asking for is meant for you and should be here by now, it's like you don't have to lie. You don't have to create, you know, a conflict. You don't have to fight. It's like and it's interesting because being the cups, it's like here we don't have any swords card, which, you know, could be tied to communicating with words. So it's almost like once you have stated why this is important for you and why it's important now, it's like you can show your heart, right? There is a way to express your heart's desire. That's the thing, right? It's like here, it's almost like here it could be like a petty desire, or, you know, a type of like maybe if you would come in this situation with this stance, with this type of imponence, is that a right word? You know what I mean, right? It's like maybe you could be seen or understood as, you know, an arrogant person, right? Just coming in with demands. But because you're going back to this, maybe to a moment where it's like you weren't here yet, right? It's like you were still reaching for your success, right? It's like, so it's like, go back there because that is your righteousness. Is that the right word to say? It's like this is what justifies without you having to explain a lot, or without you having to put on a show that, you know, creates, you know what I mean, right? Like this chaotic situation to have your demands or your wants met, right? It's like you can just show your heart. You can express what your heart truly desire, just by like showing how much you care about this, how much this is significant to you, how much you have waited for this, but now you can no longer wait. It's like your heart needs this right now, right? So after all of this intensity and this emotional type of, you know, experience coming back, because now it's the time so that you can resolve this, right? It's almost like it's going to bring peace to your heart in a sense, right? So after all of this, I am going to pull more cards for you, and also I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.